Good morning, everybody. On request of my son Caleb, he said, "Mom, how do you make your biscuits?" And I said, "I just use flour and buttermilk. I don't know how much or anything." So we're going to test on how much I use of everything for Caleb. So I'm going to start with a cup of self-rising flour. If you're making for a good group of people, let's go 2. These biscuits will last me and Robert a couple of days. Alright, so make a well in your flour or your buttermilk to go in. Now I'm starting with a cup because I'm not sure how much that's going to take, but I feel like it's going to take a little more than a cup. Part of the key to this is making sure that you get just the right consistency in your dough. You don't want it too thin, but you also want to make sure that they're moist when they cook. As my mama used to call this is what we call cathead biscuits. So I'm going to measure out about another half cup of buttermilk. And if it gets too thin, you can always add a little more flour. But that's looking just about right. Okay, so if you will look, I'm not going to just make it to where there's not a whole lot of lumps or anything. You just want it kind of stirred in. All right, you've got to have a plate of flour. Now this is the way I do this. I've already poured a little bit of bacon grease in the bottom of my plate there that I'm going to be using. I use my spoon and just dump a spoonful and use my hands to cover the biscuit in flour. Don't knead that too much. Just put it in your pie plate there. Also, you need to make sure that your oven is preheated to 475. My biscuits are never the same size. The middle biscuit there is my son David's favorite biscuit. So make sure, now I always cook bacon when I'm making biscuits so that I've got bacon grease to put in my pan and to put on top of my biscuits once I get them in the pan there. I may run out of room. Will agree. Didn't get that stirred in as well on the edge there. I am a messy cooker. Robert can attest to that.
I'm a messy eater.
Alright, so I'm full in my pan there. Most of the time, if I know the kids are coming home, we're going to make room for one more. I usually have a pizza stone that I use. And that way I don't have to worry about not having enough room for all of my biscuits. So we're just going to make room here. These probably aren't going to turn out real pretty. I don't know if I can get that in there or not. We're going to put a little bit in there anyway. Okay. I'm going to take these off because they are so messy. Take the spoon that I used, the pan that I fried my bacon in. This is just the little bit of the grease that was left. What I don't use, I always put in a jar with a lid to use for throughout the week with just pintos or green beans or peas, whatever I'm cooking that needs seasoning. Okay, so these are going to go in the oven
You didn't get any on that one.
Oh, see? I would have noticed that as I was putting them in the oven, had to pull them back out. Thank you, Robert. Okay, so I'm going to put these in a 475-degree oven, and I'm going to set my timer at 10 minutes, and then I start watching them and give them a minute or two each time in between, and make sure that they are good and golden brown. When these are finished, we will continue and show you the end product.
Okay.
Alright, so they've been in the oven for 16 minutes. I never know exactly how long it took. I've just always watched my biscuits. This is the stone that I normally put my biscuits on when the kids are home. I'm going to turn these over. They may not be brown on bottom, and if they're not, I'm going to stick them back in and put them on broil. If they don't stick, great. That's the other thing. One that you don't use all the time for this is that it's seasoned as well. Right there on that edge. Try it again. Those are good. Lightly brown on bottom. One biscuit's being stubborn. Like I said, I normally don't use this one. I normally use that when the kids are home, when I'm making biscuits. It was in the oven just a few minutes ago when I opened the oven and put the biscuits in. So these are good for topping up gravy. These are not your biscuits that are going to fall apart. One of the things that we normally eat after we have our eggs and bacon with it is Golden Eagle syrup with butter mixed in. And that will be breakfast this morning. Y'all have a good day.